welcome to Squad, your favorite spot for everything esports and gaming. As usual, we have a great evening planned for you, but you know, it's Friday, so we gotta discuss with the crew what we're doing for the weekend. Wait, if you're new to us, I'm Marissa, this is Lisa,
right.
that's Brody, that's Zurich.
They just want to know what our weekend plans
That's
are.
right.
Doing?
Yeah.
Any plans?
Yep. I am doing physical activities.
You are.
I am doing physical activities.
It's not video game related.
Oh.
I'm playing volleyball all weekend.
Okay.
Tournaments.
I don't even know who you are anymore.
Right?
Good luck.
Isn't that weird?
We call him Haikyuu here.
I'm
Anime reference.
Yeah, don't search it.
I am just going to be browsing Reddit and playing Rocket League.
So when he does that
It's an
work,
exciting weekend.
Typical.
When he doesn't
Okay.
work.
Basically, our day. I'm just gonna live my life and go to the beach a little bit, check out Zurich and his tournament because
Yeah, right.
the tournament is happening
Holla.
right by my hood. No,
That's
literally,
right.
it's like
Yeah.
literally, yeah.
You got a
where I
fan.
live.
No, yeah.
No, it's a huge scene. If you guys haven't seen the volleyball courts in the beaches of Toronto, they're absolutely insane. Like super lit up. They do it well all weekend long. Bring my little puppers. They can take my little puppers out.
Gonna be
I
scared.
take my board out. I have to skate. I haven't skated basically this whole summer. So yeah, gonna hit that and then play some Archero because now you guys got me hooked again.
Obsessed.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I love that game.
Honestly, I'm just gonna eat. There's like a food festival
Oh.
happening up north, like not too
Nice.
north, but I'm just gonna go to a festival and eat food.
Eating.
So.
I like it.
Yeah.
Anyways,
we're in
that's
plans.
tomorrow, not today, so we should talk about what we're doing later on. This poopy face and I will be debating the latest in Unmuted.
That's right. And I have, of course, all the news in case you missed it in Reported.
But first, I need to get up to the esports stairs of knowledge
Oh.
and break down some CSGO because it's Eastside Esports time.
Oh, shit.
One. If it's RPK that's dropped, they could be in serious trouble. That should do it. There we go. It's Team Liquid, and that's what it means to them. They've taken it at the fourth map. The favourites coming into the tournament have just unlocked the Intel Grand Slam as ESL 1 Cologne under their belt.
Hello and welcome to Inside Esports. I'm Zurich Herbuela and I will be your IGL as we break down all the CSGO action from ESL 1 Cologne. But before we get into it with our special guests, it's time to throw some PogChamps in the chat because here are the highlights.
They do have a three-man stack on this side. Device, who's had a really rough game, flashed. He's going to get that shot, and that has to feel a little bit going out middle of the air to take down Alex, and now they're pushing. Oh, you've got to be kidding me! He takes every single one! It shouldn't be possible, but somehow they get the bomb plant. Dupree, all he needs is a single bullet, but RBK will win the fight! Device and Sip left, and that is going to be all she wrote. Device, there is nothing left here. They're all in front of him, and there it is! 16 rounds! It's going to be a grand finals for Vitality.
He's using the Deagle. He's got confidence in his name, and he sees it as RBK is fast! And Twist shows us all that maple syrup is just another form of liquid! And he won't plant. There's no rush. Slow it down as Nav walks outside, who confirms the second map for Vitality. As Zywoo has to shine through in a 1-on-2. He's got the first, he's got the second! Zywoo's a god!
As the bomb tries to go down, it's a little bit late on the plant. Oh my goodness!
My god! It's smoke on his right. Tap on the bomb, spray through, 8 HP, and Alex is forced to move. Forced to get away, and the smoke's still down. At least knows he's nowhere else. He has to be there! He is so smart! He clears everything!
If it's RPK that's dropped, they could be in serious trouble. That should do it. There we go. It's Team Liquid, and that's what it means to them. They've taken it at the fourth map. The favourites coming into the tournament have just unlocked the Intel Grand Slam as ESL 1 Cologne under their belt.
2019, the year of NACS. What a time to be a CSGO fan. There's too much to love in the scene, including our guest for today, CSGO caster and analyst Vendetta. Welcome back to the show, man. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me back. I'm doing really well. Just got, I guess, kind of cooled down from a really exciting ESL Cologne, and now just got my eyes targeted on the majors. So it's a good time to be a CS fan.
Yeah, indeed. Very exciting weekend. Let's start from the top. Team Liquid definitely, held to their HLTV rankings, especially just sweeping pretty much the entire group stage, and of course, at the end, winning the Intel Grand Slam with a very streaky fashion, very similar to another team that we're going to talk about later. But now, obviously, the biggest question is, genuinely, how good is this team, and how much liquid is left in their tank?
I think there's a fair bit of liquid left. I mean, there's no no discussing that they're the best team in the world as it stands right now. I think with the way they've started out their season, I mean, obviously the majors coming up, they've put themselves in a prime position to make a case for them having, if not the best, that's going to be tough to do, but potentially the second best season of any CS team in history, right? Just right behind Astralis from 2018. And that's not a small task. I think obviously the major's going to have a big impact on what kind of legacy they leave behind, but I don't think we're going to see Liquid just fall off the trail right now. They have no reason. They haven't shown any signs of weakness in terms of letting down or giving up on their form going into Berlin. So if you're a fan of North American Counter-Strike, you have no reason to be worried just yet, and I think you have to hold Liquid as favorites to pick up the major.
That's amazing to hear, because I am definitely a fan of NACS. Stewie's my boy. Another team that we have to talk about is the second place team, Vitality, because they were probably the only team that made Liquid kind of sweat a little bit. Yeah, ZywOo felt like a true force of nature, and after those finals, of course, a lot of people are comparing ZywOo with Simple, but in your opinion, how similar are these two prodigies, and what does Vitality need to take them to that next level?
I mean, one thing is, and just similarities between Simple and ZywOo. I don't think they're too similar in terms of play style and how they go about things, and necessarily how their team is built up around them either. I think one of the really cool things as well is that ZywOo's had immediate impact. He pretty much went from against all authority to playing in Vitality as his first professional team and having outstanding performances versus tier 1 teams without any sort of a hiccup period. Didn't need time to adjust, didn't need to kind of come to grasp with the level of the players around him, even though he took a massive jump. And with Simple, it was more of a gradual transition, right? You had him from A Gaming to Flipside to Hellraisers and so on and so on. So he kind of went the stepping stones, I guess, of the CIS region before he ended up in Navi. Not that it makes it any less impressive what he's obviously capable of doing now, but there's a little bit of difference in how they got there. But it has led to, now we don't just have a really exciting, race as to, who's going to win tournaments. There's a lot more competition there, but now there's actually a legitimate contender for who's the best player in the world might be, because Simple kind of solidified that title for quite some time, and now ZywOo's just like a rocket coming in there and just showcasing what kind of skill he has. And obviously, I think that's kind of what Vitality needs to nurture as well, to answer the question as to where they need to go next. They're still a fairly new team in terms of what they've, how long they've been together, how many tournaments they've played. Keep in mind, ZywOo's still a rookie on the pro circuit. And I think that's really all they need to keep in mind. The fact that they're having the results they're having right now is kind of just, it's just the cherry on the top, really. So just keep doing what you're doing. Don't get too far ahead of yourselves. Even in the finals where they managed to take a map off of Liquid, you had some of their, I guess, regular performers falling off completely. That's not necessarily something you need to stress out about, right? You give yourself more time. You figure out better ways to incorporate the 4 others around the way you're making ZywOo be in a prime position to perform, and I think you have something really good working for you if you're Vitality.
Yeah, and I mean, he is definitely one of those players that you can put in, a 1v4 scenario, and you're just like, okay, that's still an even match, because he is just that good.
It is pretty ridiculous, and I think that's why, to me, and I've said this on a couple of other podcasts as well, the fact that I've never been as excited about, or not in recent time, I haven't been as excited about a player as I am about ZywOo for that exact reason. The fact that you could go into 1v4 and it's like, well, it's ZywOo, so there's still a chance. And, a disgusting amount of times, it actually pans out as well. And the few times it doesn't, right, he brings it down to 1v1 or he does something magical, right? And he just has that je ne sais quoi that, it's hard to pinpoint, it's hard to explain what it is, but something magic to him. And I mean, the fact that his birthday is on, the release of Counter-Strike doesn't make it, any less special.
He was born to be in there.
Exactly.
All right, let's move on to the last team that I really want to talk about, because originally I thought this team was kind of just taking a break from, all the competition and taking care of their mental health as they stepped away from big events, which of course I respect, but it seems like the vacation time has finally caught up with them these past few months. Talk to us about what's happening with the downswing of Astralis, and what can they do to turn it around, or is it one of those things where everyone has finally figured them all out?
So with Astralis, it's you can look at their 2018 as a bit of a perfect storm, and obviously those kind of things eventually end. The only sad part about the entire run that Astralis had is that many people are going to be left with the feeling that they ended it themselves. And as you said, they took a lot of breaks from going to Premier tournaments, which again, I can definitely see it. I don't think most people at home realize how much of a hectic life it is being a pro gamer at the very highest level if you just accept every invite, if you go to every tournament, and what kind of just mental drain that is on all the players, because you never stand in one region or stay in one region for too long. You're constantly on a plane or in an airport, just living out of hotels. It's not necessarily an ideal life. And I mean, obviously these are people who have, lives at home too. Some have girlfriends, some have family that they want to spend time with and all that stuff. So it can become really draining. And I think Astralis had a really good balance to it last year, where they kind of figured out what was best for them. They didn't want to travel too much, so you can't really fault them for it. But obviously there is an obvious downside of not being matched against the very best teams in the world. You can talk about how obviously practice time is all in well. It's good to have. It's something that teams need when they kind of need to revitalize themselves, but you need to have that top matching. And even though you're practicing against the best teams in the world, it's a very different thing about playing the same kind of teams in a competitive setting on a stage and so on. So for Astralis, I don't think there's any reason to panic. I think we've seen definite improvements from their first time back, and then stepping into ECS, and then obviously now at Cologne. There's been improvements. Their individuals are playing better and better. Now we had a bit of an off tournament from Device, which is very much against the norm. So I think for coming into the major in Berlin, it's still going to be Liquid versus Astralis. I don't think that storyline has necessarily died down. But this time around, it's on Astralis to kind of showcase that they're back. They're the ones that have something to prove. It's not going to be Liquid having to overcome the skeleton in the closet of constantly choking out and ending in second place, or not being able to topple Astralis. That's dead. Now it's all about Astralis having to prove themselves. But I do still think they have it in them. They just kind of got a bit of a harsh awakening to what happens when you're not in fighting form, at any given time in this kind of industry. So, yeah.
I'm so excited for what's about to come. One last thing before you go, was there any particular play in the entire ESL 1 Cologne that stood out for you, that you were like, that was maybe the Device op ace maybe, because that was definitely mine, because that was insane. But what was your favorite play of that entire tournament?
Yeah, I want to say, given the context as well, right? Like on Inferno, Astralis are struggling. Device has had a very quiet game. Pulls out an ace for the double to boot, and they kind of ring it back from there. Yeah, that'd probably be my highlight for the tournament as well, if you want to go into specifics. Outside of that, just watching Zai Wu progress as a player, seeing him proving doubters wrong, right? Like, for every hurdle he has, everyone's like, this is going to be where he stops. This is going to be where he fails. And I'm doing that as well. I'm thinking, like, there's no way he can perform in this one. There's no way he can do it. Exactly. So that's just like a continuous highlight for me that I enjoy watching a lot. But yeah, now if you want to talk about specific highlights, I feel like Device, given the context and situation of the game, that has to be my highlight.
Yeah, that's a perfect answer. Although that entire tournament was literally a Zai Wu highlight reel.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us today, Vendetta. It's always great talking to you, but that's all the time that we have.
Thank you for having me. Fun to be back talking some Counter-Strike.
I freaking love CSGO. I could talk to that man all day, but we don't have all day since Lisa's already waiting and she's really impatient. So let's head over there for the latest esports news in Reported.
The weekend is almost here, but before you relax, let's get you caught up on all the latest news in Reported. Let's kick it off with some great news for all you fighting game fans out there. EVO organizer Mr. Wizard announced this week that the Dragon Ball FighterZ tournament at EVO 2019 has surpassed 1,000 entrants. That makes it the 7th game to hit the 1,000 entrant mark with just under a week to go before registration closes. Dragon Ball FighterZ was one of the most popular games at last year's EVO, and even if it's not as big this year, it's still looking to be one hell of a fight. The other 6 games with over 1,000 entrants include Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Tekken 7, Street Fighter V, Samurai Showdown, Mortal Kombat, and Under Night in Birth. EVO 2019 kicks off on August 2nd, and I don't know about you, but I can't wait to watch. In Overwatch news, Blizzard has finally revealed its brand new system designed to catch cheaters and hackers. In a developer update, Overwatch game director Jeff Kaplan revealed that the long-awaited improved cheat detection system is being tested on the public test realm. Before, when players suspected someone was cheating in-game, the common reaction would be for every player but the cheater to throw the match until it ends in a draw. Besides reporting, there wasn't much that could be done to stop a cheater mid-match. With the new system, a match will now shut down if a cheat is detected. Players who are not cheating will not lose or gain any skill rating if a match stops this way, while the user will be banned. Kaplan says that cheat detection will continually improve as more sophisticated cheats are developed. Thankfully, this is a good step in the right direction. If you thought that was the only Overwatch news, you'd be sadly mistaken. Unfortunately, this next story isn't a good one if you were excited to see the next hero. That's because Kaplan confirmed that Overwatch Hero 31 has been delayed. Traditionally, a new Overwatch hero arrives at the start of summer, but that deadline has come and gone without a whimper from Blizzard. But in announcing the delay, Kaplan also teased an important bit of info. Specifically, Kaplan said that the new hero is going to be awesome, but that he is going to be released later than we're used to. With the new hero being a male, that crosses off about 90% of the community's guesses as to who it will be. Then again, absolutely no one was expecting a hamster to be a hero, so it's probably going to be something completely unexpected. That's all for the news in Reported, but now it's time for Marissa and Brody to shut each other up in Unmuted.
Welcome to Unmuted. We got your gaming and esports hot topics, hot tweets, the spiciest meat.
Yeah, so we're going to be presenting all the goodies that we've gathered, which we will discuss and hopefully argue. But luckily for all of you out there, we do have a lovely mute button to shut each other up if we need to for 30 seconds.
Yeah, okay, to be fair, we haven't really used it as
we've
of
been agreeing
late.
too much.
We have been.
I'll try to hate you today.
Yeah, our friendship ends right now. Remember, we like when you call us out when we're wrong and praise us when we're spitting truth. So let's get to it. To kick off our stories, we're going to start by taking a look at the path to becoming an esports pro. In traditional sports, you have an established path to becoming a pro. You have high school sports, college sports, and semi-professional leagues to become a baseball or football player, etc. But that's not the case in esports. There's currently no pipeline that guides a 10-year-old or even a 16-year-old down the path to esports stardom, apart from playing a lot of games and really getting lucky. So, Brody, do you think it's possible for a system to be established where a player can go from an amateur to a pro in esports? And I feel like you're going to use Rocket League as an example here because I feel like they might have the best system so far that I've seen.
How do we put this into 2 minutes? Because ultimately off the bat, my answer without saying anything is going to be no. This is such a difficult esports, and this is why I've always said esports is not sports. They are inherently different beasts. You know, sports are not a product from a company. Sports are just a thing that humans do in the universe. We have a physics set that's already defined, you know, whoever was coded in the Matrix or God made it, it's there. No one can own the, you know, football or baseball and that, right?
If you're going on a science path and we're not there, Brody.
But with video games, a developer makes it, and that is their intellectual property, and they can say what happens with it. So someone can't just go out and make a league. They have to consult with the developer that made that. And now, if that developer says no, now you don't have that league, and there's less support because less people are just able to go out and do that. So I can't just make, you know, a league for my school. You know, if I'm the principal, I want to make a league for the school to compete with others. I can't just do that. I have to contact the person that owns that property. hobby.
Sure,
and
but
it's way different than sports.
That's right. Because from the top down, we have a publisher, right, that really owns all the property for everything, okay? So it's very difficult to actually make a path for this pro to get to that one specific game. If there are systems in school that, you know, train people on FPSs, on like different types of genres of things, and maybe there was like a school of thought for that, that might be a thing, but it's very difficult to set a path.
There.
Yeah, of course, there's gonna be problems everywhere. This is why you're right. Sports and esports are really not the same thing at all because of the fact that these esports can kind of like pop up out of nowhere. Like Apex Legends is like happening now.
Die out of nowhere.
So they're really, to be fair, there needs to be something in place. To be fair, there needs to be something in place to protect very skilled gamers, to train very skilled gamers in the things that they're skilled at. Yes, but I don't think it can be an inherent game overall. Because how can we have that? But the best system, honestly, though, I'm surprised Brody didn't mention it or talk more about it, is the relegation system that happens in Rocket League. Because at least there is a system in place underneath the pros that say, hey, you form a team, you're here, you have to have enough points to get here. And there's at least
Marissa,
some kind of branching.
As much as I want to hear you talk about Rocket League, we have to move on. They're yelling at me in the air. I had to use it, and there's my mutes out of the way. In streaming news, Twitch is beginning to ban streamers who engage in reckless driving while streaming. Several IRL streamers reported that their channels have been given temporary bans because of their poor driving skills and for violating traffic laws. Reckless driving can be classified as a felony in some states in America, which obviously violates Twitch's terms of service. Now, Marissa, we've been watching some clips. I wanted to hear you, but we had to. The show must go on. But you know, we've seen some clips. We even in yesterday's episode, we saw a clip of someone almost running over pedestrians. You know, I think we can agree that, you know, it's great that they're, you know, banning reckless drivers.
Sure.
Do you think that they should be banning driving and streaming entirely?
That's hard to say because people do record themselves in their car a lot because number one, the lighting is actual fire. If you're posting any kind of like selfie or video and there's a car and the phone is mounted or the camera is mounted on the dash and you're just being recorded that way, it is though very distracting. If you're looking over at the camera to like check yourself or just like to talk to the camera directly, it's such a distraction. I don't think that we should be having this at all. Obviously, people need to pay attention while they're driving. We were just talking about terrible drivers today actually with our director Blaine and Tyler as well because like he almost got hit by a distracted driver. Honestly,
on
when
my
you're
way to work today, a semi almost ran me off the road.
Okay, see, Brody, and I want you alive. I want you here, even though
I would like to be alive.
I love you so much. Listen, I want to stay alive too, and I feel like this stuff is so bad. This is just catering to the fact that like so many people are getting in accidents, so many people are dying from just being on their phones while driving, checking social or whatever it is. I don't think streaming while driving should be allowed just in general. Maybe I'm just being an a-hole because I don't do it, and like it's cool, but
I'm glad that you said that because literally yesterday I was streaming my drive. Now.
No, but you were not. But you were not recording yourself, though. You were recording the street in front of you.
That's true. I had it. So this is the thing. I had it mounted, and I didn't look at chat. I had a mic mounted here, so I didn't look at chat unless I was fully stopped or pulled over at a store or something.
Right.
And that's when I interacted with chat.
Okay, fine.
But the thing is, like, not everyone knows how to have that control, and they're going to be tempted to look down in that. So it's hard. Do we have to cater now to the common denominator that doesn't know how to
Then there needs to just be laws in place where you can have a camera mounted facing outward. You can't have any kind of screen in your car where you're checking something, you're looking at it. No, you can actually have your screen and your camera facing outward.
So yes or no? Should Twitch ban it for now until that gets placed?
It's not black or white. It's a totally gray area, and some people are just honestly idiot drivers. Like some people are so skilled at driving that they can actually handle everything and still drive and maintain and look and see everything in the periphery. They can do that. But unfortunately, 90% of the drivers out there are actual trash.
Amen.
We're not in that obviously because we're very good at driving.
We're amazing.
No, okay, knock on wood though, because I don't want anything to happen after when I'm driving home. All right, the World of Warcraft community is divided over mythic races. For reference, mythic races are events where different guilds race to see who can compete in a new raid on the hardest difficulty when they launch. Now, the guild method is accusing Red Bull of trying to get third-party ownership over the races through a new event featuring multiple guilds. Method wants to keep a community run, while Red Bull wants to bring it to a larger audience with more guilds participating.
So,
Brody.
Yeah.
Mythic races have been a community organized event for 14 years, okay? So do you think that maybe its desire to be bigger outweighs the concern that Method is trying to keep it community run? This really sounds very FGC, by the way.
Yeah, the thing is, I feel like there's a little bit more legitimacy to the concerns here that the WoW community has, because to me, this is, Sure, it could bring more streamers online because they want everyone streaming so that you can view all their views, and there were less people. So now there's going to be more WoW content out there that could push that up on the Twitch list. So more people may start tuning into WoW, which is obviously good for the community. But they can start doing that without the help of Red Bull, and it does feel like Red Bull is coming in just to give a bit of their own push to their brand, which of course, like you can't blame them.
Yeah.
But this can be done without the help of Red Bull right now. And it's like there's so many logistical problems here. So they want to have everyone out at an event on the day that the patch is supposed to drop. What if the patch gets delayed by Blizzard? What if they don't put it out that day? And now all of a sudden you got a bunch of people sitting around in a warehouse being like, what do we do?
Yeah,
right?
but then wouldn't that be on Reddit too, if they're a part of it, to actually make it okay? Like, wouldn't that be on them? The onus is on them then?
Yeah,
if they're taking ownership?
I do almost see it as Red Bull trying to ingrain themselves in a bit of the WoW culture that's already established.
And what's wrong with that? Literally, what is wrong with that? You guys, this means money for you. This means money for you, for your guilds, for this whole scene. Like, why wouldn't you take this corporate sponsorship? I get that you want to keep it community-based. I understand that for sure. But there's also an opportunity here to grow and bring in a new audience and bring in people that have never even seen this before and actually give it more legitimacy than it already has. That's what sponsors do. And a sponsor like Red Bull, yes, it's endemic already. It's not even like these sponsors are coming in from the outside. It's not like an insurance company or it's not State Farm just saying, hey, we want to take a part of this. No, like Red Bull's been in esports for a minute. They're not going to try to taint what you've got going.
And I got nothing against Red Bull. It's just I feel like maybe they need to offer a little bit more than just monetary value at the end of the day. Anyways, for our last story, I got the last word. Get wrecked. For our last story, Ubisoft is banning quests that players are creating in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. The quests have one thing in common. They offer lots of experience for doing nothing, allowing players to rapidly level up. Though the game is single player only, custom quests are shareable online. Ubisoft says that banning these kind of quests protects the integrity of the game. Marissa, do you think Ubisoft should be banning these quests? I mean, they put the tools out there. They put the tools out there for them, and now they're saying, no, you're exploiting it.
It's just like we just had a story about Ubisoft and Rainbow Six, right? We just had that happen because they're also trying to
on this.
Yeah, they're going in a little bit. They're checking out the scene and they're realizing, you know what, we're not controlling this and we don't like it. I don't really like that. I feel like if their tools are there to be creative, let them be creative.
Put it into the tools.
Yeah.
Like put a rule set into the tools, make it so that they have to have a certain amount of events or a certain length for that quest to be able to give a certain level of experience. And then you eliminate people exploiting that, right? But if you already give them the tools, you can't really get mad at them. And
okay, well, they're saying one is multiplayer and one is single player.
But you can share them online.
But you can share them online. So like, is a single player then okay? Like, where is the line here? We can't take it all away.
You know why they want to take it away?
Tell me.
It's because you can buy experience and level ups in the game, and they don't want to lose out on that sweet cash.
Sweet money. It's all about the money. Yeah, okay, fine. So can we fault them for that? They're a big company that they have to pay, and they have to pay all their employees and their developers, and the developers that made this.
They can pay their employees.
No, yeah, they can, but they need money to do that, right? So they need to be accruing money constantly, especially with big titles like this, right? They make them every year, blah blah blah. They still have a team of people to feed, and they have families to feed, and they need to worry about that. So they're gonna do whatever they can to get the most money. I'm not sure I'm surprised at
again, it comes down to the method of doing it. Instead of just going out and banning all these things that people have made, just make it so that they can't do that in the first place. Instead of, now you're allocating resources to trying to stop people from making these in the first place. People aren't gonna stop if there's still a way to make it, right? It's like, I get if you think, okay, we gotta make the money off this, we gotta, min-max as much as we can off of this, then just make the tools so you can't do that. But don't get mad at people if they're gonna do that if you give them the tools to do that.
Yeah, I'm always surprised by the creativity of communities, right? Like they just make it work.
Gamers are a creative bunch.
Then don't give them tools.
Don't give them tools.
It's time to check in with streamers in Clip It. Our first clip comes from TryHacks, where one viewer expressed their disappointment that they can no longer watch a certain show.
I used to love this show. Shame it got canceled.
Too vague. Bro, you're such
Okay, so people that don't know, Pro Jared had a YouTube channel. I don't think he posted anymore. There was just a lot of scandal that happened. Yeah, there was a scandal that happened earlier this year where it came out that he and his wife were splitting up, and then his wife actually posted, like, and he said it was all mutual. She posted saying it's absolutely not. He's cheating on me, and he's cheating on me with this person. He did this, this, and this, and a bunch of underage girls came forward showing photos that he had sent them in like weird cosplay stuff. Like, it was a scandal.
That should be the new Rickroll.
The new Rickroll, yeah, is Pro Jared basically. And then there was like a whole YouTube account set up of just like people watching his subs go down, like of people unfollowing him and unsubbing. Like, I mean, it's crazy how like the internet can turn on you, right? The internet can full on turn on you. So I guess you just really have to watch what you do. Yeah, guys, like why are you sending photos of things that it shouldn't be shared to people that maybe you might not trust a month from now? Like,
are you talking about my memes?
No, your memes are fine,
but
like, Brody, you need to stop sending dick pics to people. Like, that's something that you absolutely need to stop doing because they will be shared.
I literally only send them to myself, and even I'm disappointed. Let's not talk about my genitals anymore and move on. How about that? Our next clip comes from Aries, who has some thoughts on Skyrim.
Whoa. Oh, it's cold. No, what the f***? This game sucks like crazy. Oh my god! This game is so tight. Did you see what I just did?
How fast that turned around. Have you ever had that quick change of mind where you're like, well, this is garbage, and then I was like, actually, I don't really like it.
In Mario Kart, like every single time I play.
Every 2 seconds, the roller coaster of emotions that you go through. It's like, yo, I'm in first place. This game's amazing. I'm actually really good. Oh, there's a blue shell, red shell.
Like,
oh, there's another banana that I fell into after the red shell hit me.
Yeah, it's absolute garbage.
You get knocked off the bridge.
Or like you're in 8th place or something, and then you get that circle, that ring of 8, right? Where you get everything. You're like, this game's the best.
You feel powerful.
You just feel power. It's Mario Kart. And I guess Skyrim too, because that happens all the time. All right, it truly is the best time of day when we scroll through the Twitterverse to bring you all the things the pros bless us with from their timeline. We especially love it when they remind us that we all do dumb things sometimes, Brody.
Why call me out?
Biofrost says, I washed my hair with toothpaste thinking it was shampoo. Sigh.
What?
Okay, yeah.
How do you even do that?
Okay, well, to be fair, have you ever brushed your teeth in the shower before?
No.
Oh my gosh, it's so refreshing. It's super refreshing. Literally just put some toothpaste on your toothbrush, bring it into the shower with you, brush your teeth while you're in the shower. So refreshing.
You ever pooped in the shower?
No, that's totally different. This is getting clean. That's getting obviously dirty. So
I'm cleaning my insides.
I knew waffle stomps.
I've been framed. I've been framed.
Setting up for the waffle stomp. Listen, no, the toothpaste, brushing teeth in the shower is very refreshing. So I guess maybe he was really tired or something, and he reached for shampoo, and he grabbed the toothpaste tube, and he just
I don't know about you, but my shampoo bottle and toothpaste tube look entirely different. And you should probably be able to tell the second you pick that up.
Maybe you were just really tired or like on something.
Maybe I want to try something new and just like couldn't think of an excuse afterwards. Maybe this will refresh my hair. I don't know. I can't figure it out. Anyways, Overwatch Pro applies tweeting things that really speak to me as a man. The diameter of Pringle cans is way too small. Yo, truth. And one of my favorite comedians of all time, Bo Burnham, talked about on this as well. He made a whole song about this.
Oh, yeah?
He only wants to have a daughter just so she can put her hands in the Pringle can and get the last Pringles for him.
No, it does get difficult though. Like I have lady hands. I can't, it's hard to get all the way. I don't want to make anything that can turn into a meme. So, just like, there, just like that, stuff to get in there. Then you gotta, it's like this, okay, still, nope, it was going a direction that I can't take back. So we're not gonna go there. Listen, sticking with Overwatch fam, Malik has some news. He says, I inhaled Beyonce's air last night. I held my breath and exhaled into small airtight baggies, selling each baggie for 500 racks per.
Oh my God, this is going too much.
Someone would buy that though.
Okay, so it's like, I like these parody ones. We saw the gamer bathwater. Yes. You know, there's clearly a parody, nobody would buy that. But I actually could see someone buying this.
Somebody would buy that for sure.
I just like, you took in Beyonce's CO2 output as you were near her. It's like, that's going in a bag and...
Yeah, and just baggy it or just keep it forever. Like, this belongs to Beyonce.
I own Beyonce's CO2.
Okay, but what's the most ridiculous celebrity thing that you would actually pay money for?
Probably not much, in all honesty.
I feel like if you got something from Chester...
The weirdest stuff...
Or Elon Musk.
The weird. Okay, I'd do anything for Elon.
That's what I'm saying. Yo, you would take a baggie of his poop and waffle stomp it easy. You would do that for sure. That says Brody Moore. That says Brody Waffle Stomp Moore if I've ever heard of anything else. Tell me I'm wrong.
I have no idea what to say after that. Can we move on?
Tell me I'm wrong.
You're a little wrong, but maybe not. I don't know. We'll see what the future holds. Let's move on because it is time to get to some crowd control. Our first clip is yet another great moment in GTA. Some days, no matter what you do to make sure you have a good day, it still falls apart. This guy feels. You try to dodge. Oh, hey, you drop this fire hydrant. I just love straight to the face. No matter what, man. You try to get it out of the way of the world coming at you, and something else sideswipes you.
Yeah, that's just a lesson for life.
That's just big facts.
Also, like apparently Mercury's in retrograde now, so that stuff's gonna happen.
Wait, what?
Mercury's in retrograde.
Excuse me?
I don't know. Look it up, Brody. Okay, Mr. Science.
That's not
I know. Can't you get into astrology too? I feel like you could go there.
Can I have another mute button? Astrology is not science. Jeez, no! Help me!
Wait, what's your sign? Huh? You know it, don't lie. What's your actual sign? Tell me the truth.
What's next in your script? What's next in your script?
No, you know. I know you know it.
No. I'm not buying into this.
You for sure. Are you like Scorpio?
I know
or something?
because you won't let me not know it.
Are you Scorpio?
No.
What are you? Libra?
What do you think I am?
I don't know. I'm not.
Exactly, because
Cancer.
you can't tie personality to a sign.
I'm Leo, BT Dubs. Sports have their armchair athletes and posers, but esports have their own version. We all know one. I present to you the esports guy.
I like to mix my Adderall with protein powder in the morning. I heard it on Joe Rogan's podcast. Helps it absorb into your body better. I've been playing insane ever since. You have no idea.
Yeah, I was drinking G Fuel way before it was cool. They were gonna sponsor me and give me a discount code, but I don't know. I guess the offer got lost in the mail. I don't really complain too much though, you know? Look at him out there. Playing basketball, big dreams. I don't know why everybody makes a big deal about Shroud. I killed him. Yeah, clips on Twitter and everything. Yeah, I remember whenever I used to play basketball. Probably would have went pro if I hadn't torn my rotator cuff sniping in PUBG. What the f is that, Colin? Is it a pre-mixed energy drink? You know the rules. If it ain't a chalk, take a f***ing walk. Don't play that in this house. Yeah, I know I was supposed to change my Twitter name today, Mom, but I can't pick. I like FaZe more, but 100 Thieves feels like more of a family. Yes, when I change my Twitter, that means I'm a professional player.
Bruh, seriously, we all know someone that changes their Twitter handle to something like have like 100 Thieves or something in it.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, like
you have 3 followers. I know you're not a part of that org. What are you doing?
I think
what are you doing?
I thought it was always a thing where they're just huge fans of that particular org, so that's why they put it in their handle.
That's fair, but
guys, like that's really stupid. You're not actually a part of the org. You're just a fan of it. Like you could say 100 Thieves fan or Green Wall fan, but like you're not actually a part of it. Like don't delude yourselves, okay? Like let's all live in a reality here.
Let's live in a reality. We play video games for a reason.
No, but like outside of the video game,
escape reality.
Outside of the video game, we are living in the real world, and let's behave as such, okay? Please.
Yes, fine. You know what?
Please.
I'll try for at least 5 minutes.
Okay. Thank you.
In case you missed it, Nintendo did announce the newest version of the Switch Lite. Now, if they follow the footsteps of the 3DS, you know more versions are coming. 2017, let's hit the, we have our Switch. We got our Switch Lite. Then we got the Switch I. We saw that with the DSi.
Yeah.
The Switch IXL. Oh, how about the 2 Switch? Flatten it out. 2 Switch XL, you need a big one. Nintendo Switch 1. Then we got the new Nintendo 2 Switch XL, new Nintendo Switch 1 XL. Straight up, I will have to hand it to them. They destroy Microsoft in making very convoluted system names.
Yeah, absolutely. No, Nintendo wins the prize on that for sure. They also win the prize for, best handhelds on the market. They know what they're doing. Like, yeah, they will put all these models out there. I'm sure half of those will actually come out. It will be a real thing.
Do you think that strategy is going to work again? I mean, I don't even know if it worked for them for the 3DS.
I didn't think it worked for them. It definitely worked for them for the 3DS, for sure, hands down. I owned a few of those, actually. But, but for the 2DS, like, I didn't think that they would sell that. I honestly didn't. And they sold so many of those, too. So, I mean, they keep proving us wrong time and time again.
The point of the Switch is to have the portability and to share it with your friends.
Yes, and then it gets smaller and it gets lighter, and that's just the way she goes, bro.
I don't get it.
Listen, I don't get you sometimes, but I still love and appreciate you, right? Oh. No, I was gonna get you. You unmuted me. Okay, whatever. That's it for unmuted. Remember, you can always hit us up on our social. Just say hi or send us some stuff to react to. We are Squad State everywhere. We'll see you next time.
Day anyway. You can still run it, but you don't opt to do it. Whoa. Yeah. You only need one. You only need one sniper right now, clearly. If you are Atlanta Ray, 3 kills for Baby Bay. All right. Yeah. All you need is a Widow. Nice stagger onto Chris here. What a play. What a play from Baby Bay. Oh,
he's not going to stop, Noah.
Why not, man?
He's not going to stop.
The switch has been flipped. It's on now. Goodbye, and oh yeah, there's the tackle crouching.
Triple trouble, we've seen them do it before, can they do it again?
Cassio, slow play, demo, tadpole into the middle, and that's a beautiful equalizer. The slow roll gets it.
Triple trouble does not disappoint. Cassio not only getting the pass, but he gets the demo, even tries to take out Magnus as well. Tadpole finishing off that shot.
Arrow to Rocky, he's by himself, separated, can't get the slow. Level 16 Camille ready to go in. Jackie Love goes in with the killer instinct himself, finds it, and that's the 1-for-1 trade now for IG. The flank from Faker is insane. The Azir gets the free hit, and IG are separated, torn. Faker can't get through, but lives through the sustain over the wall, and Jackie too. Korea fills it, and Faker fills the whole damn play.
He's back.
Shoot a fire in front of them. But they do have a 3-man stack on this side. Device just had a really rough game. Flashed, he's going to get that shot. And that has to feel a little bit going out middle of the air to take down Alex. And now they're pushing. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. He takes every single one from nothing to the AWP ace.
Absolutely rips on German Crom mains.
Which is happening again because Jax is very good at just doing a lot of damage when he gets the opportunity. Oh, there we go.
Even Dobby's smiling at that one, shaking his head but smiling.
Oh, I'd be smiling.
On their offensive push in the last go around, and Hago, he managed to hit a key sleep. That is as good as it gets. Straight into the drink.
Covering both options now, a pass to the middle.
Diving stop, Justin again coming off from the midfield line. They'll run into Garrett G on the way out, and that will slow down the NRG attack. But Justin, beautiful fake, and that will be into the net.
Just incredible, living up to his name. The touch, the mind game, Sia Fairy, and he just puts it in. 2-goal lead. NRG is feeling it.
Jumps right on double lift, 80 carry next to him, so. Big damage to the Kumo. Okay, gets in the melee range for the one, puts him back into the turret, impact and a chase. Can't for the knockup. Kumo, one more turret shot. Oh, he's got the solo kill. Kumo!
Whoever's got the boost and whoever wants to try and take it on the wall, and it seemed like nobody from the bricks really was confident as Devo was taken out. Speed prioritizing the player and the boost.
It's really heads-up play by Speed. He just lets the ball roll through to his goalkeeper, takes the boost and demos the opponent. That's going to relieve pressure for the time being. He's off the wall for the redirect, and he puts it on target. Speed, 1-1.
In a game where the bricks have had barely any chances, that was clutch.
You know what? Seeing some Rocket League plays in there gets me hyped. You know I have to talk about it. I actually want to use this time now that we have a few minutes. I tell a story I read. It's story time. Tell a story I read on Reddit the other, actually today, about, I wanted to say the other day, about this guy, how he met his significant other through Rocket League. Now it's just cool because it was video games. I'll kind of TLDR it. Basically, he was online and he was getting stomped by someone. He was just having a bad day, right? And he's like, okay, I'll do one more. And he got stomped again. It was like 4-0 in a 1v1. And usually he would have quit out. He's like, I'm gonna, brave through this and just try. I'm just gonna try as my last match, just finish it off. But it just kept getting worse and worse. So eventually, just started, turtling, going upside down, just trying to demo the opponent and stuff. And eventually, that person started joining in the fun. And after the match, that person replied and said, "Hey, I like you. You know how to have fun. Let's team up." So they teamed up and started playing and just started dominating. He's like, we felt like grand champs at the time. And so anyways, they stomped someone 8-0 and the opponent invited them to voice chat. So at this point, this guy doesn't know anything about who his teammate is. So they go into voice chat with their opponents. He's like, I know they're just going to berate us, and because that's how it is. People get salty, they want to voice chat with you. That's exactly what happens. They start berating them. But in the meanwhile, this guy heard his teammate giggling in the background because they just thought it was funny. He's like, okay, that's either a really young boy or a girl. And he just assumed it was a young boy because it's right. So he eventually gets talking. He's like, oh, it is a girl, and they're like, oh, cool. So they keep playing. Over the next few months, they find out that they have a lot in common. They actually really start to like each other. So they kind of solidify, what's going on between them. He doesn't tell his parents though, because he's like, he doesn't know his parents are going to think about it, like, meeting a stranger on the internet and now you're in love with them. So he told his sister and a couple of his friends. Now this is where it goes for a roller coaster. Is that the dude ended up getting into an accident in a car and going into a 2-week coma, right? Yeah, so out of the coma, he had a few weeks of rehabilitation. We're getting memories back and that, but at that point, the friends and family broke it to the parents that, okay, he had this relationship, we need to tell her because they know it was something real.
So he must have been like, where is he for the last 2 months?
Exactly, so they told her, they did tell her, so she knew, but obviously she's so concerned. So when he finally got his phone back, a month later or whatever, to talk and actually get back on the road, he realized how upset she was about it, meant that he really needs to pursue this with her. So he couldn't fly because of lingering health issues. So he ended up getting his parents to drive him down. The parents actually offered to drive him down and said, hey, you really should pursue this. So it was really cool that the parents did get behind it after all. And they drove him down. She had summers off. She was a teacher. And while he was there, he proposed. And of course, she said yes. And so now at this point, they're married. They found each other through a video game, just by, and for him too, imagine if he had just given into assault and just left that match and gone on with his day, he'd never be in the position that he is now.
Through toxicity, he found love.
That's what it's be as salty as possible and you will find love.
So there's hope for Brody after all.
No, he actually did meet his lady through Rocket League.
Oh, that's true. That is true. Rocket League or Tinder? Like, who needs Tinder anymore?
Rocket League's the new Tinder. Get in on the action, guys.
I don't think that should be on a t-shirt anywhere, but I love how you said, you said you're going to TLDR it, and then you literally told us the
It was still shorter than his post.
2 hours long,
Trust me, it was still shorter than his post.
I mean, that's fine. I'm pretty sure we still have time to play.
Yeah, we wanted to test your brains, guys. If you're watching at home, be sure to play along too. But we're gonna do some trivia.
Okay.
Courtesy Geek Game.
Wait, did you guys already look through all these? You already know all the questions.
We have played it.
Stop being so skeptical.
No, I just sound like cheaters. Okay.
Okay. Well, you're sitting next. Well, you're sitting next to one. Wait a second. Wait.
You're surrounded.
Marissa, okay. The point is we have a buzzer, so if you're just faster than us, even if we cheated, you can still beat us to the answer. So there you go.
Okay.
I think we all take turns just asking a question, and you keep track of the correct scores.
Zurich, start us off.
We'll start then. All right. Let's see what we got first.
Lisa, I looked away.
This is a good one. Are you guys ready?
No.
Okay.
All right. In The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, what is the name of the fairy companion that accompanies Link, voicing the iconic catchphrase,
"Hey, listen." Brody.
Navi.
That's right.
Navi?
That is Navi.
It is Navi.
Navi. That's a card.
Yeah.
It is also an esports team.
It is also an esports team.
Darn it! I've never played a Zelda
I don't also play.
You don't?
I just know things.
It's very memed.
Hey, listen. Yeah, okay, sure.
You should have done the voice better.
I tried.
It's all your fault,
Wasn't that was close enough. Come on.
All right,
Lisa, pick.
All right, Lisa, your go.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh. Sorry, I got really excited. Which action RPG series from 2011 is famous for its hard-as-nails boss fights, collecting the souls of defeated enemies, and respawning at bonfires after you die many times over? Oh, no one else.
Oh.
Everyone got really excited.
Bonfires.
Brody?
Dark Souls.
That is correct!
Oh. I thought you had it. I was going to give you a
I was going to say Bloodborne, but it's the same makers.
Yeah, Bloodborne came after them.
Yeah.
You get to
Oh, yeah.
No,
right.
this is not fair.
We got
We
this,
should
got
also
this.
make this fair for Zurich.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I feel like
dive over.
I can't reach it.
There you go.
All right,
Okay.
Marissa.
The most puzzles in the original Tomb Raider series were solved by A, platforming, B, collecting items, C, shooting hidden targets, or D, pulling levers.
I'm just gonna guess because I don't know.
Yeah, I think
I'm
we're
gonna
all
try
going to
it.
guess this one.
All right, when in doubt, go for C, right? So D.
No. That is incorrect.
Is
Is
anybody-
it platform?
Answer.
Are you gonna-
You
are
will
you
get one
gonna-
shot.
Platform.
Yes.
Okay.
I did it.
There, got it.
So it's actually worse to go first if you don't know.
Yeah, no, I didn't know at all, so I was like,
That's
might as well shoot my
minus
shot.
points.
No, I shoot. What? There's no minus
There's
points.
strategy in here, guys.
This is
No.
like, welcome to the We Have Points Club.
I know.
Okay,
We did it.
Can you just
We
read the
did
card,
it.
please?
Alrighty. Question. In the classic game Pac-Man, if you wanted to eat a ghost for bonus points, you first had to eat what?
What the?
What's it called?
There's a name. Yeah. That's why I did it. 'Cause
The pearl.
You got one of the letters right, but that's about it.
I'm just gonna say pellets.
Oh.
You got one of the words right.
No, wait, there's two.
Okay, I'm gonna guess.
All right, go.
Press the button.
I'm gonna say big pellet. Is that
Wrong adjective. It is.
Can I-
No! You can't. No, you get one guess. It is the power pellet.
Oh my god, I was so close. I was so
Power
close.
pellet.
That was
dang
very
it.
close.
I was bad.
I was like, it's somewhere around there.
It is big, so I'll
Yeah,
give you
but
that.
that's the thing. Like in all those old games, they would literally just call whatever it is, whatever it is.
Oh, literally.
That's a
that
pellet.
is fact.
Yeah, so that's a small pellet and that's a big pellet, and that's what it
It
is.
literally is called whatever it is. Whatever.
You
it is.
No, seriously.
You could have been making video games back in the day.
Yeah, yeah. I
You'd be the naming
could have
guy.
been. It's my turn.
He's actually ancient, by the way, guys. Oh, sorry.
Don't tell that to people. All right. What is the name of the gang member that Grand Theft Auto San Andreas revolves around?
The game member.
Oh.
Who's the main character?
Is it?
Played this game.
Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Oh no.
I would even accept
I never
the first
pl-
name.
I never
It's
played
without
San
his
Andreas.
full name.
Because it's not. But it's not San Andreas.
I'm gonna try.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Carlos?
Mm-mm.
Ah.
No, which?
Very close.
I was close. See.
Very close.
Close?
Yeah.
It was close.
Okay, Marissa.
No, but it's not San Andreas though. Like
You have to guess now. You press the button.
Nico Bellic, but that wasn't. San
No, that was
Andreas.
four.
Carlos is close?
That was 4.
Carlita.
Okay, yeah, Nico's been a female protagonist.
Maybe it's
very-
like
very
maybe it's like
close.
Carl.
It is Carl. It's Carl Johnson, or as the characters
Yes.
call him, CJ.
I was
In the,
CJ.
in the entire
So no
game.
one
That's how I knew him by
gets that
CJ,
point.
and that's why I couldn't think of it because I never actually played that one.
I know.
Well, I played it, but it was only as a
Fantastic.
kid with a lot of cheats on.
Yes.
I didn't do the story mode
Yes.
at all.
It's a very violent game.
I hate
That's a kid.
Okay, ready, guys? Next question. What classic arcade game was the first to feature the carpenter Jumpman who would later change his career and be... Okay, I didn't finish the question.
You have to finish the question. Disqualified. You have to wait till she's done the question.
No, what?
Was that part of the rules?
We didn't discuss this.
No, but that's always a part of the
Where's
rules.
the rule book?
No,
Let
why
Marissa
can't,
answer.
why
Let
can't
Marissa-
we?
let Marissa answer.
With the classic
Every
character Jumpman.
trivia show, you
So,
gotta wait till the question's
Jumpman
done.
was in Donkey Kong.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
She got it.
Yeah, it's not a real point though.
I don't have points either.
Wow, good
There's
retaliation.
a lot of music.
Clever.
Guys,
A toxic
she has
environment.
the point. Give her the
If
point.
she said Jumpman, you should know
No, but we
what the
should've
game
waited.
was.
Yeah, but if we all know, you have to wait till the end. Does Jeopardy let you answer before the question
Are
is
you
done?
freaking
No.
serious?
No. That's the rules.
That's
how it
facts,
is.
guys. All right, Marissa, don't be bitter.
You're so annoying. That'd be one of the most
You get the
annoying
point. You
people
get the
to
point.
play
Give her
any
the
kind of
point,
game
okay?
with.
Give her the pity point.
Shh, quiet now. Dang it, Bruce's gonna get this one. Which music rhythm game series that has the player wielding a guitar, shaped controller came first, Rock Band or Guitar Hero?
I'll let you have
What?
the
There's
3
even
point.
options at the end?
Yeah, that's.
Watch is the opposite one. Guitar Hero.
Yes.
Yay!
Yeah.
Congratulations,
Point
Lisa.
except for Marissa.
I'm actually gonna fact check that one.
Why?
The first one was a 3-button guitar rhythm game that came before Guitar Hero. The Guitar Hero was based off of. I forget the name of it, but it was before Guitar Hero.
Okay, cool.
Honestly, that was too
So-
easy, though.
Geeking gamer, man.
All right,
Go
Birdie.
ahead.
All right.
You can fact check
Let's see if you can get a real point here, Marissa. In what year was the Nintendo 64 released?
Oh, jeez.
You should remember, you're old.
1964. Just kidding. It's not.
60? Is it?
I'm trying to think of.
Oh my God, Marissa!
I honestly don't know.
1992.
No.
I tried to steal it, guys.
It's definitely not 92.
Okay, I'm gonna answer. 96.
Ding, ding, ding. Were you gonna say that though?
I thought it was 96 or 97, but I didn't know.
Can't take too long, Marissa.
Yeah, you
I was
take way too
sensing
long.
your Googling in your brain, and I was like, I can input.
Racking the brain for
I can
you.
take that input.
All right.
Is it me?
Yeah, it's you. Marissa.
Well, he knocked my card off.
Well, you didn't have a card.
It never happened.
Oh man. Okay, this is gonna be an interesting one.
Okay. All right.
Okay. David Crane,
I'm out.
Larry Kaplan, Alan Miller, and Bob Whitehead left Atari to form which company?
I wasn't old enough for this.
Brody.
Sega?
Nope.
Oh, I was just guessing. I had no idea.
Sega.
That is a
That would
tough
be-
question. That's a good one.
Left Atari to form which company?
David Crane, Larry Kaplan, Alan Miller, and Bob Whitehead.
To form a new company?
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be like Activision or something.
You think so? Kaplan sounds. Well, I mean, it's the Blizzard.
I don't know.
Take a guess.
Take a guess.
No one actually knows. You may as well take a guess.
take a guess.
Throw a developer out there.
BioWare?
You have to press the thing.
BioWare?
No. I'm sorry.
Triggered.
It has to be.
The rules.
Activision.
Yeah, it's the rules.
You can't just keep stuff.
Activision?
It was Activision.
You can't take multiple turns.
He
Can
actually
we
but
just
didn't press the button.
disqualify Marissa right now?
What?
This is like the Wild West, right? There are no rules in this trivia
Just
now.
pass on the cards
Let's do
out.
one
Okay,
more
Lisa,
one
pick,
final
Lisa,
question.
pick.
All right,
You
these
guys-
are all my
No,
points.
no. This is the last one for it all. No?
No?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So which 1986 Nintendo game is set in the fantasy land of Hyrule and centers on a boy named Link? Go!
The Legend of Zelda.
That is anticlimactic.
It all. How did that happen? The clutch comeback.
She did not.
I hit the button. I waited for her
We've
to
already
finish.
disqualified you.
I literally waited for her to finish the question.
That was our
before I
only
hit the
legitimate
button.
round.
That was the only one.
So I
But
guess
no,
that
I
was a real
fighting
point.
for it though. But
Yeah.
Marissa, you won. Just let her have it.
I didn't win.
Congratulations, Marissa.
I won this one.
Oh.
And Brody, actually, you didn't do too well.
What do you mean? I tied with him, and he's great.
We're
But then we
tied.
all have two except for Lisa. That means Lisa lost.
You have one.
No, the other one
Legitimate
wasn't one.
Disqualified.
One
She's done.
legitimate point.
She's
Okay,
done.
you know what?
Marissa.
I really love playing games with you guys. This
think we're
has
not
been
friends
so much
anymore.
fun.
It's great. I love it.
Hey, we're on our own for lunch today. That's it. I swear to God. Okay, that's all we got. Shout out to Vendetta for joining us earlier on. We'll be back on Monday with a new Unmuted Inside Esports, where Matt will be spitting some League of Legends knowledge. Thank you, Matt.
Right. Meanwhile, be sure to check out all our socials at Squad State and, of course, our YouTube channel for more content. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.